This video is about the new moon in Gemini, and you will receive tarot guidance and I Ching guidance for this new moon. Now, this moon is happening on either the 14th or the 15th of June, depending on where you live. Where I'm at in South Africa, it's happening at 4:55 in the early hours of the morning on the 15th of June. It is happening at 24 degrees and 3 minutes of Gemini. Now, we have big energy in Gemini at the moment because this new moon is happening in a sign-based conjunction with Uranus. Now, even though they are kind of at opposite ends of the sign, we know that just by being in the same sign, there's definitely an influence here. So with this new moon, there's definitely a sense of that wild card energy of Uranus being very present, and that unexpected things can come to us. We can have real insights and enlightened moments at the time of this new moon. Now, there is quite a lot of really positive flowing aspects happening at the time of this new moon. So it feels very dynamic. Just being in the sign of Gemini, there can be so much movement. Gemini is very fast moving because it is ruled by the planet Mercury. And even more so at the time of this new moon, because we also have that energy of Uranus that is present with this new moon. Now, I drew a card for the overall energy of what this new moon can bring us and gift us, and what we can learn from what is occurring at the time of this new moon. What I received is actually the moon card. Now, the moon is interesting in the sense that it really calls us out to connect to the mystery. It calls us out to connect to our light and shadow. We've got a wolf and a dog. It represents those elements of us that are more tamed, that are more conditioned by society. And then the other part is the wolf, which is more wild, which is more connected to who we are, in a really subconscious place that is not so conditioned. And the beautiful symbolism of the moon card is this crayfish here, which is actually crawling out from the subconscious, from that emotional place, and bringing something to light. There is definitely a sense of balance with the moon card, and I really feel this for this entirety of this new moon. First of all, we are dealing with Gemini, which is that duality energy, and we also have the two towers here in this card. We have the dog and the wolf. There is a sense of really connecting to different sides of who we all are, and integrating those sides and being open to those sides. So this to me is the overall energy of this new moon, is possibilities by connecting to the subconscious, possibilities by allowing the shadow to come forth and really bring new things to light for us, and finding balance in that way. Now, the ruler of this new moon, which is Mercury, is sitting at the time of this new moon in the sign of Cancer. Now, it is making a sextile to Mars in Taurus. So again, this is quite a dynamic energy, because Mars is also an energy that is very fast moving, very action orientated. And so in that sense of movement and action, and lots of things can happen. There is a conversation happening here between Mercury and Mars, and Mercury in Cancer is still in that part of our charts where collectively we are connected to family, to family dynamics, to our family wounds that we carry with us. So there's a sense that there can be a very grounded action that we can take at the time of this new moon between with the sextile between Mercury and Mars. Now, the card that I received for this Mercury-Mars sextile is the Page of Wands. And with page cards, there's always a sense of, you know, pages are a more younger, inexperienced energy. There is an opening here for learning. The Page of Wands is all about enthusiasm, being able to explore and opening to new things. So with Mercury here, the ruler of this new moon, and it is sextiling Mars, there is going to be some fire, some enthusiasm to take action, to learn about ourselves and to be open to new things when it comes to family, when it comes to our relationships and things that we've learned for generations that may not be working for us anymore, that we can discard, and we can now walk with this Page of Wands into a completely new adventure. So really feel into this card and that openness to learn. I mean, the wand is actually taller than the page, so there really is a sense of growing into something bigger that we can really tap into at the time of this new moon. Now, the exciting thing that is happening at the time of this new moon is there is actually a bowl shape or a basket. I normally call it a basket. I know some people call it a bowl. So there's this bowl that is forming between the planets, and the bowl formation is all about trines and sextiles. So it's very open, it's allowing things in, it's newness, and it's in a flowing way that's not too combative or challenging that we can get with oppositions or squares. So there's so much newness that we can tap into, and it really relates to the moon card that I received for this new moon in terms of all of the planets that are involved in this basket, because we've got Pluto in Aquarius, we've got Neptune in Aries, we've got Uranus in Gemini, and then we also have the newly moved Venus that is now in Leo, and they are all forming the corners of this basket shape. Now, Pluto, Neptune, Uranus, they're all very expansive in different ways. Pluto is going to draw us into the depth where we are working with our shadows, where we can really transform things from a very, very deep place. Neptune is very expansive in the sense that it connects us to that place of unity where we feel we are the wave in the ocean, and the wave is the ocean, and the ocean is the wave. Neptune really connects us to that very high, expansive love and unity. Uranus connects us in a different way in that it's a very, very high electric, mental kind of energy, and it can bring such deep insights from a very, very high perspective. And all of this is connected to Venus at this time. And so this energy can really connect us with a new sense of love, with a new sense of values, with new values around our creativity, what creativity now means, and what relationship now means to us personally and collectively, and how these things are transforming at this time. You know, so many people are just being awakened at the time that we are living in, with all of these new possibilities and the frequencies that are present on the planet. So this basket energy at the time of this new moon feels so expansive. And some of it, I think, can also be challenging, because we may be confronted with things in terms of Pluto that are hard to see, but that are necessary for us to see. And if we relate this all back to the moon card, you know, it's going to bring more balance. It's going to bring more balance between our conditioned selves and our wild selves, and who we can really be if we embrace all of our different sides and allow those more subconscious things to surface and awaken us in that way. Now, for this basket shape, I actually received the Six of Pentacles, and for me, the gist of this card is very much about balance. All of the cards where the person in the symbology is holding the scale, there is another invitation here and a symbol for balance. And this card is very much about generosity as well, how we give and take, how we share of ourselves. So there's a real invitation here to tap into a new sense of balance, to tap into a new sense of give and take. And this is open to us, to all of us, at the time of this new moon. And collectively, I think we can go into a different direction. You know, I see more and more every day where people collectively, in different ways, in different places, are standing up and saying, no, that is not acceptable anymore, you know, and making real choices for change. So collectively, we can really step into so much more balance at the time of this new moon. Now, the only square that is present at the time of this new moon is not as strong, because Venus has already moved past a square to Chiron, and yet it is still in quite a tight range. So Venus is at the start of Leo, Chiron is at the end of Aries. Now, there is a conversation here of healing between, in Leo, that part of us where who we are when we want to feel seen, when we want to feel connected, when we want to feel confident in love, in relationships, when we are dealing with our values, with our money. And Chiron in Aries is still dealing with that individual self, you know, how we want to show up as an individual and healing those parts. So what showed up here for us is the Four of Pentacles. Now, how I connect this to this energy and this conversation between Venus and Chiron is, again, a sense of stability. This is a pentacle card, which normally is more about the earth element. And so there's a grounding here that can occur, and a new sense of security that can be found at the time of this new moon, in terms of our values, in terms of our relationships. And this card always invites us to think about where we are holding on to tightly, where we maybe need to loosen our grip, and yes, also maybe where it is appropriate to hold on tightly at this time. So all of these questions are possible. So really tap into the healing that can still occur for us at the time of this new moon in terms of relationships and money matters. Venus is very much to do with money. So there is a sense here that healing can occur and a new sense of balance can be found between that place of not holding on too tightly but allowing flow to happen and being open to receiving whatever healing is available for us at this time. So you can see this feels like a very expansive new moon. It feels like a lot can shift and change. With this basket formation, it feels like the possibilities are just so open and we can connect so deeply and so vastly, and have so many insights for new directions and new openings in our lives. So this feels really, really lovely actually. Now, the I Ching guidance that I received for this new moon is hexagram number 22, and it is called Grace in the Little Book of Changes by Peter Crisp. And it says, the world is a beautiful place when your life is full of grace. And the word grace actually relates so beautifully to me, to this basket shape, because grace is that energy of everything is divine. So even those challenging things that Pluto can bring to light, even those expansive things that Neptune can show us, even those insights that Uranus can bring that sometimes really shock us, there is a sense of grace and divinity in all of this that can unfold at this time. It says, you're like a fire in the mountain, a radiant inner glow, brightening and gladdening every aspect of your existence. And this part actually speaks about the moon. It says, as the moon reflects the glory of the sun, you too can create beautiful reflections to enrich the world. Attend to the details, refine and polish the threads you weave together to create a tapestry of delight so you can live in a state of grace. So this feels really beautiful. We can really contemplate here in this hexagram also the moon card. You know, this is a new moon, so yes, the moon is dark, but with the moon in general, we deal with that sense of reflection. And how when we choose to connect to that sense of beauty, we choose to enrich the world and really bring things together and choose things that really bring more grace into our world, how we can actually change the world for ourselves and collectively. So this is such a beautiful message. I hope that you have a beautiful new moon. And at the time of this new moon, I am offering my two programs. The one is the Moon Wisdom Lab, which is all about how the moon follows through the chart for a whole month, where you get personal guidance and group guidance. It is such a lovely group to connect to. And then I also offer the Cosmic Compass, which is also a monthly program. You can tap in for a month where every week you get personal guidance on your chart. So I will leave the links below. It was absolutely great to have you here. And please connect with me, please comment, please share if this resonates. It helps my channel and my business to grow, and I truly, truly appreciate every single person that shows up here. I will see you again soon.